Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel. Well, the wokesters are back and they're back at it. The Turner Classic Movies host, Alicia Malone, explains why we shouldn't cancel problematic classic films. Can we please cancel the word problematic and just go back to the word problem? Because it works 99% of the time and you don't have to add extra syllables to sound intelligent when in fact it makes you sound ridiculous. Anyways, she says we should listen. Okay, whatever. So let's take a look at some of the movies that are on the chopping block. I can tell you, since we just came out of St. Patrick's Day, two of my favorite St. Patrick's Day movies that I didn't get to watch this year because of my work schedule. But one is, and I do have the review of it on this channel, is The Quiet Man with John Wayne. Completely unacceptable by today's standards. And then Darby O'Gill and the Little People with Sean Connery in one of his first movies. So I don't know if that would make it or not. So far, Disney hasn't blackballed it yet like it has so many of its other films, but it's probably, it wasn't right then and it's not right now because of its derogatory treatment of the Irish and the Little People. Whatever. So here is the list of movies that they are swinging their pendulum at. The Quiet Man isn't on here, which I thought was interesting because that is it's an awesome movie. But it is hard to watch because of how they've poisoned our minds now. And what I think is interesting about this, let's go back to the headline for a second. TCM host, Turner Classic Movies, host Alicia Malone explains why we shouldn't cancel. The only reason we're having these conversations is because America has become censor happy. The Soviet Union had nothing on what we are becoming and becoming very, very fast, as everyone knows. Okay, so here's one of the movies that is in trouble, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, because there's a scene where they kidnap the girls. And you do realize it's a comedy, right? And it's pretend, right? And movies aren't supposed to be documentaries, right? No, nobody seems to realize that anymore. Okay, let's find the next blue one. Guess who's coming to dinner? Here we go. Gone with the Wind. Okay, we've already gone through this whole spiel in society with Gone with the Wind. It is a fantastic movie. It's a brilliant story. The idea that anybody wants to censor it for any reason at all shows how twisted America, or whatever the name of our country is now, has become. What? What do you mean, whatever our names become? Ladies and gentlemen, look around you. Pay attention. America is not what this country is. Go back 3 years. There was no discussion of censorship. Just go back 3 years and look at the difference. We are not America. Everything that we know about America and what it stands for, nope. And someday I will do a video on it. It's taking me forever to put together. Let's see. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Oh, this one I really like. When it comes to Breakfast at Tiffany's, do we know why Mickey Rooney was cast as Mr. Yanoshi? Because you see, in those days, people were considered to be actors. And what I find really, dare I use the word in the 21st century, offensive about this question is Mickey Rooney was portraying a Japanese man. Okay, and that was wrong. Then why do we have to constantly put up with all these other race switches in videos and in movies, and nobody seems to care about that? But when this one exists, see, it's this unequal reality that is really making the exposition of why this is all bad and so much of an epic failure. If everybody held to the same standard, then we wouldn't have an issue. And we also wouldn't have the censorship. But we don't. We have certain words that are allowed to be said by certain groups of people. We have certain races that are allowed to switch to other races in films and movies and entertainment, and other ones that aren't. It's like, guys, this is not a nation based on freedom. Freedom isn't about double standards. And when a nation does have the double standards, they know at that moment that they're not being free. This channel is called the Tea Party Hardy channel because we celebrate the American Revolution. Everybody likes to pick on Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington about the slave issue. They didn't like owning slaves. They just didn't have either the courage or the financial persuasion, however you want to put it, maybe both, to get rid of them. But they did let them off the hook when they died, when Jefferson died, when Washington died. They did free their slaves. Now, obviously, the rational thought is, well, I guess better late than never. But the point is, they put it in the Declaration of Independence, and later on in the Constitution, the maneuverings to get to where we got to with eventually freeing the slaves. They knew it was going to happen. They wanted it to happen. They just couldn't make it happen because when the country was founded. Yeah, hey, it's Tea Party Hardy Channel. Okay, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Mickey Rooney. Ooh, bad for him to play Japanese, but when you watch Supergirl and you look at Jimmy Olsen, that's not the Jimmy Olsen from the comic books. When you watch The Flash and you see that Barry Allen's girlfriend, eventual wife, and Kid Flash, dude, I want to hear the same question asked about them, and then we can entertain it. But until then, you're just making it up. Oh, now this one's really hilarious. Let's see. When you get into Alfred... there's some movie called Marnie with Sean Connery. I don't know this one, so I'm not going to comment on that one. But there is the Alfred Hitchcock one with Psycho, and they're like, it's Psycho what they say about it. Oh, did I pass it already? I did. Let's go back. I want to find Psycho. Because what it says is just so embarrassing. Come on, give me the blue line for Psycho. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. There's the silhouette from Psycho. Oh, it's not. Wait. Did I get it? Yeah, nope. Oh, that's weird. Anyways, it talks about how it makes transgender people look bad in Psycho. This is why in the new movie, Raya and the Annoying Dragon, that the bad guy, the villain, is a bunch of frickin' smoke. No face, no color, no race, no anything. Because if you're going to say no one is allowed to be a villain, then don't be surprised when the villain becomes a freaking puff of cloud, which is exactly what has happened in Raya and the Annoying Dragon. Please stay away from that movie if you love your sanity, if you love keeping your IQ, pushing it up. Do not interact with Raya and the Annoying Dragon. It will do nothing but pull it all the way down. And I'm being very nice in saying that about it. Psycho was another one. She says, I recently saw a documentary where it broke down how damaging it was. All these images throughout Hollywood showing transgender people as something to be terrified of. Monsters. Okay, so we can't have villains. We can't have villains. That's what all of this comes down to. We can't have villains. The only villains we're allowed to have now are big gases flowing out of somebody's backside. Yeah. Now, not done with this. How is it affecting the real world? Those are movies. How's it affecting the real world? Well, the talk extends the hiatus for the second time amid Sharon Osbourne's Piers Morgan controversy. Let's remind each other. The controversy is Sharon Osbourne stuck up for Piers Morgan having the ability to speak his mind. She repeatedly said, I don't necessarily agree with him, but I do support his ability to voice what he believes. That's the controversy. That's why we're not in America anymore. In America, voicing your feelings or opinion or the data wasn't something that was smacked down as something wrong. It was something that could be argued against. It could be something to be ignored, but it wasn't something to create a 2-week hiatus of a TV show, because the TV show is fully aware when they choose, are you going to come down on the side of freedom of speech for Sharon Osbourne? This is Ozzy Osbourne's wife. You know, the Prince of Darkness and singing. And his wife, she's like, I don't even know if I want to come back. Or are they going to come down on the side of the lady that made the innuendo that if you stand with Piers Morgan, then you're giving a safe space to all these racists? And then Sharon Osbourne goes, and I think this is what got the show on hiatus, because she nailed the argument, which was, are you saying if I simply say he's allowed to say it, I'm a racist? And the other lady came back with, well, kind of, yeah. And that's what the show's got to figure out. You're going to have to choose, TV show. Are you on the side of freedom of speech and freedom of thought on a talk show where you're supposed to be expressing different ideas? Or are you on the side of, no, we will destroy you like everyone who came before you? It's up to them. But in America, these things did not happen. That they're happening now, I'm sorry, that just supports my argument. This is not America. But what about the other side of the coin? What happens to the people that are woke? How do they get punished? Well, it turns out the Obama-era officials who are returning to the White House are worth millions. That's right. The White House financial disclosures show several officials gained massive wealth. So when Obama's team left the White House, They went out to K Street, which is where the lobbying is. They went into Hollywood. They went to Netflix, and on and on and on and on and it goes. And they made bank. Why is it that the time we're living in now has presidents go in moderately wealthy to poor? Bill Clinton was far from rich. And come out and become multi-millionaires. Why is that true of so many senators as well? Particularly, I can't say uniquely, but I can say particularly on the left. I tried to do some research to find out the answer to that question. When did presidents start becoming filthy rich? Because if you go way back to my time in the Tea Party era, John Adams, the second president, poorest president we had. Dude went in as a farmer with no slaves because he was massively anti-slavery, and went in, did his term, didn't win against Jefferson, went home, continued to do the farm with his family, his wife and his daughters and his sons. Yeah, boys and girls alike worked hard on that farm, and many of them died of diseases when they were young because that's just what we did before the 21st century where, no, we're going to wear masks and pretend like everybody's going to live forever. No, they knew better in those days. Didn't make them feel better. No. It was very heart-wrenching with all the losses. But now we're in an era where, for some reason that I can't hammer down, no, you go in moderate and you come out filthy rich. Trump is the exception. He went in filthy rich and came out, just attacked on all ends because the system is on the side of these guys right here. They are greasing their palms like nobody's business. According to ABC News analyst, the most recent disclosure reports many of Biden's top White House officials, including the Chief of Staff Ron Klain, domestic policy, blah, 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 good old Susan Rice. If you know politics, you know, ooh, what a woman, and not in a good way. National Economic Council Director Brian Dees and coronavirus, I don't know if you can say that word or not yet on YouTube, probably not, response coordinator Jeff Zients have substantially multiplied their wealth over the past few years. Substantially. Rice, who is among the wealthiest members of the Biden House team, dramatically increased her, they keep saying the same phrase, wealth since her previous White House job during the Obama administration, reporting between $36 and $149 million in various assets. In her new disclosure, as a frickin' politician, as someone who does politics, who doesn't sell anything, who doesn't make anything except trouble, $149 million. So, while Sharon Osbourne is sweating bullets because she defended a fellow human being's right to voice their understanding, these other folk are making bank off of exploiting the fact that you don't get to say what you want. You don't get to say what movies people can watch. We get to say. You don't get to say which races can be swapped out and which ones can't. They do. And by the way, you will pay us handsomely for that privilege, for us to tell you what to say, what to think, when to think it, and what you can watch, and what you can see, and what you can hear, and what you can feel, and what you can taste, and what you can touch. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the future.